Good evening and welcome to another round of the House of Esports F1 2022 League. This is the Pro-Am category, and the game has just loaded in, and I've seen a wonderful surprise for the Pro-Am guys, and I'm sure the Pro guys are going to be cursing their luck because we have heavy rain for the qualification session. So yeah, we will be racing around Hungary. Quali will at the very least be in the rain, so I'm curious to see whether that will carry over to the race or if we'll have different conditions for the race when we get into it, and we will indeed. So another mixed event, not so much a mixed session this time. So yeah, a mixed event with rain in the quali and then a dry race so far as I can tell, up to the first half hour of the race itself. So pretty much the reverse of what we had last night for the amateur tier guys, and it's pretty typical. So yeah, let's get right to it. Farah, I will send you an invite right away. There we go. And yeah, anyone who does need an invite, please let me know in the chat, and I'll send you an invite shortly. Let's hop across to the live feed. And yeah, a couple of guys going out already. So you have to wonder, will people be going out on wet setups, or will they be going with dry setups and just trying to make their way around? It looks like the rain at the moment is from what I'm seeing on the screen, it looks like heavy rain, but according to my telemetry, it is lighter rain, so we're likely to see it dry up fairly quickly. I don't think it's going to be dry before the end of the session, though, so we'll probably see this rain. Ooh, and massive snap there for Venom, and smacks into the wall, and I wonder if he's still got wings after that. It does look like he does. He's got a little bit of damage to his front left wing, which is not surprising after that moment in the wall. Admire is behind him, so we'll follow Admire around in the Ferrari to see how he does. But yeah, this track is absolutely treacherous in the wet, and I'm sure we're going to see more snaps, more smacks into the wall. And yeah, yes, humid. That's what I said. That's why I said that the pro guys are going to be cursing their luck. Because once again, you guys got the boring race. But yeah, the race itself is going to be dry, so I wouldn't be surprised if everyone has gone with dry setups, which means very little, I must say, in this game. I don't know if that's maybe the underfloor. What's it? The ground effect. I don't know if it's the ground effect that makes the rain much less dodgy, or what, but yeah, it does seem like this game is a lot more forgiving on the wet in the wet than the previous game, or any of the games before that I played. So yeah, wet isn't necessarily the death sentence it used to be if you had a dry setup, but you will lose a couple of tens here and there. So yeah, let's see how the guys do. So far we've seen a couple of people having issues bringing out yellow flags, but no one really looks like they've completely binned it just yet. I admire coming to the end of the first sector, taking a lot of curb on the inside and the outside there. And yeah, that was pretty brave in the wet, and you can see that car is not happy heading in a straight line. Yellow flag there, that was just Venom, I think, getting out of the way. So Admire still on a decent lap so far. Obviously, we're not going to know what sort of times the guys are going to be able to do until this one is done. That was very close to invalidation of the game being generous there with what counts as in contact. It did look like he went over, but obviously still a couple of pixels in contact with the curb. And now Admire heads into the final couple of corners, and these are so difficult to do in the dry. They are horrific in the wet. Gets through there. It looks like he's done fairly well, so let's see what he can do as he comes through the final corner and across the line. There's a little bit of a wait there. Across the line now, 1:30.843. So as I said, not 100% sure if that is a good time or not. 1:30.845 by SAF1 Phantom, 2 thousandths of a second in wet. conditions. That is incredible by the top two there. Well done to both of them. Well done. That is actually really incredible to see. But yeah, top two separated by 2 thousandths of a second, and that's it. Italian Legend in third, Bancro in fourth. Bancro not putting in a too bad lap, or that is quite a slow lap, but considering most guys haven't raced in the wet at all, I mean, it's not surprising that it is a little slower at the moment. Nico, I do believe, just popped up into fifth. Venant dropped up into fourth. 132.548 there. So yeah, people starting to get their laps in and starting possibly to find a little bit of a drier line. Ooh, that looked like a little bit of actual racing there. I think Venant and SF on Phantom have completed laps, so that possibly Farah just not wanting to let them through to compromise his lap when he does get going. So holding that line, fighting a little bit there as he heads around on his outlap. I think I just figured something out that has been bothering me for a while. It looks like if you set your telemetry in the race, it then resets before the next race. I think you have to set your telemetry at the at the actual main menu for it to stick. Because I've just seen someone who I know set their telemetry properly last night is currently running without the correct telemetry again. Um, Actually, no, it's not the same person. So, but I do know that this particular person has fixed their telemetry before. So I wonder if it is a situation where the telemetry settings don't necessarily save if you change them in race. So that was quite interesting. Farah having to back out of his lap, going quite slow. That's not the way to get around the track. Luckily, no damage to the front of his car. But yeah, Farah was going quite slowly there, and Kaifu managing to get through. Kaifu obviously did join us last night, I do believe, for our amateur tier race, so he actually knows what it's like to drive these conditions on this track. So I wonder if he maybe just had a little bit of extra pace due to that, and so managed to get past Farah. But Farah did not look comfortable at all, and I think Farah just had to back out as well to let a couple of other people through. So possibly not feeling entirely comfortable in that AlphaTauri. This is a track that there are a couple of places that you can theoretically pass, but as we've seen over the last couple of races, Kaifu going up into third place, as we've seen in the last couple of races, it is quite difficult to put the lap together to be able to be close enough to your opponent to pass anywhere other than the DRS zone. The DRS zone obviously down the start-finish straight. A single DRS detection zone for both of the DRS zones themselves. One down the start-finish straight and the one just after the apex of the first corner. So as silence comes through there, and DRS line is there. So yeah, it is quite interesting to try and pass around here. There are a couple of other opportunities to pass as well. You can pass through this section here if you're feeling brave on the brakes and on the accelerator, and silence being a little bit too brave on the accelerator. We're going up into seventh with that lap that we saw. Farah is back out, and it looks like he is actually going at pace this time, so we'll follow him around as he goes into the fast left-hander, nice and smooth through there, and now the long uphill right-hander where he spun just now. Looks like he's doing a lot better this time, a lot more stable in that AlphaTauri. So coming towards Yes, as I thought, about the midway point, or just past the midway point of this quali session, we aren't seeing any dry weather for the quali session, so it'll probably at best get down to intermediate tires, intermediate running. I think it isn't too far away, to be honest. The rain doesn't seem to be coming down quite as hard. There is still quite a bit of standing water, but that drying line in the middle is looking pretty good. Admire, that was actually a great lap from yourself to go to the top of the times, and yeah, especially with the dodgy wrist, definitely pulling a Lance Stroll there and going out there and just showing some pace. Farah goes into 9th position, so not a terrible lap, but I'm sure he's still got some pace to come. Let's see who else is out there. Italian Legend, we haven't seen him do a proper hot lap yet, and there are those intermediate tires. So I was just saying how it looked like the intermediates weren't too far away. It does look like most of the standing water has suddenly disappeared, which is how this game does it. A couple of puddles here and there still. Oh, there we go. There was a lot of standing water there. So I wonder if the game has actually added localized weather, because this is one of those tracks that's long enough that you actually get localized weather. So the pit straight and corners 2 and the last second to last corner, they can have wet weather in real life, and the rest of the track is still dry. So it almost looks like EA have managed to do that. I know I'm giving them way too much credit, and it's not actually the case. It's just with their weird graphics that are making it look like it is drying. But yeah, it does look like Italian Legend is out there on the intermediate tires. Everyone will be keeping an eye on this lap and seeing how he does, seeing if he does have the pace. It looks pretty stable, I must admit. And if it's stable on the intermediate tires, you're either going really slowly or you're going really fast. And we'll find out how he's doing. He is 2/10 up on his previous time, so it looks like this is going to be a fairly quick lap if he can put the rest of it together. Bankro, yeah, it does look quite wet, and yeah, I do feel for you guys. I mean, we had a wet race and it was pretty difficult, but at least you can just keep going and try some different strategies and so on and see what works. Spoiler alert, it didn't work for me yesterday. But yeah, so in quali you have to push at every single moment. 6/10 up now on his previous lap, so Inter's definitely looking like the tires to be on. But yeah, humid. Quali is where you need to absolutely gun it as fast as possible, as far as possible, as much as possible, and yeah, in the wet, you get one real chance at it, and yeah. So let's see what Italian Legend does. Into 3rd position on 131.365. So absolutely incredible laps by Admire earlier on, as well as SF1 Phantom just before just now, and SF1 Phantom on wet tires. So let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if that is the tire that they're currently on or was the tire that they set their lap on, but I think it might be the tire that they're currently on. Well, you know, it is Britain, so there's a decent chance that Silverstone will be wet, but no guarantees because we don't manipulate the weather. Despite the fact that I actually wanted to. But anyway, Admire going to the top of the time, so 129.738 on the wet tires. So Admire still finding more times on the wet tires. SF1 Phantom is out there, or has put intermediates on in the pit lane, so a couple of people trying different things. No, I didn't want to give you wet. I wanted to give you the same weather as everyone else. Which, you know, in this case would have been wet. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my other telemetry app on. Alrighty, so at the moment, fastest sectors so far are Sector 1 and 3 are belong to SF on Phantom. Admire has made up all his time. Oh, that was a massive smash by Kaifu, pushing a little bit too hard. Reset to track there, but we're not too fussed about it in quali. It's just in the race that you get a massive penalty. But yeah, Kaifu getting a massive snap of oversteer there and just sliding off into the wall and having a massive smash. So, at the moment, fastest lap it belongs to Admire as well as the fastest second sector. All of Admire's gain is in that second sector. He's about 3/10 quicker there than SF on Phantom. SF on Phantom obviously small gains in the first and third sector, so he is currently sitting in second. If he puts together a good middle sector, he will definitely be able to find some time and hop up into that first place. So let's follow him around and see what he does. Um, it's not ideal. I will have a chat to everyone and just remind them that reset to track is never allowed, and that includes quali. But I'm not going to give someone a 30-second penalty uh, for reset to track in quali. I might I don't know, do something else. But SF1 Phantom going faster in that first sector than his previous one by 3/10 of a second. So this track is definitely evolving quite nice and quickly as we start to see the rain easing off and the guys heading around on those intermediate tires. SF1 Phantom going into through the second sector at the moment. Let's see what he can do. You can hear how long you guys are going to, how long it is the guys are having to wait before they get on the power, but that is just one of those things. Fastest middle sector and 1 second up on his previous time. This is going to be an absolutely blistering lap as that AlphaTauri gets well off the racing line and off the racetrack as well. SF1 Phantom showing that he had buckets of pace left in a store, and now coming around the final corner. Let's see where he goes. I wouldn't be surprised if he does get the race is in fact dry. So yeah, it's only quality that is wet, and SF1 Phantom are 128.386, 1.35 seconds faster than Admire. So a massive lap there by SF1 Phantom, finding his pace in that Mercedes on the intermediate tires, and a great lap from him. So, Phantom looking like he is actually still on a decent lap, loses about a 10th in the middle sector, so I don't know if he's going to be able to find enough time in the final sector to run even quicker than his previous lap. But the right way to do things in a wet quali session, especially if you don't have to worry about those tires in the race. It's you do want to run and run and run and run and run until the tires get into the right window and everything. And so I think that's what the SF1 Phantom did on the wet tires, which might be why he looked like he was lacking pace initially. I think he had set most of his laps on wet tires. Admire had switched to the inters quite early. And let's see what Admire can do as he comes through that final corner. Little snap of oversteer as he gets on the power. Gets the fastest lap of the quali session by a margin as well, 4/10 of a second. Great lap by Admire there to go to the top of the timing screen. And this is going to be an interesting race. SF1 Phantom, obviously we've seen how quick he is. Admire is quick on his day as well, and looks like he has a good handle on this track. Venom Bortus in third, popping up there as I went past to Venom. Venom in fourth, Italian Legend popping up now into fifth, Silence in sixth, Chicken Wing in seventh. Well done to Chicken Wing on placing that high. Benkro in 8th, Kaifu in 9th, Nico in 10th, Gokes, No Reason, Farah and Amir are top 14. So there we have it. Admire out in front. SF1 Phantom in second. Venom Buddha's third. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do. Venom fourth. Italian Legend fifth. Silence, Chicken Wing, Ben Crow's Head, Kaifu, and Nico B top 10. Gokes, No Reason, Farah, and Amir Scrappy bringing up the rear. Top 14. So yeah, pretty interesting quali session. Obviously the wet weather meaning that we didn't see the cars quite on the limit, but everyone's sort of tiptoeing around trying to get as good a run as possible in the wet conditions. Dry race, so let's see how the start goes, especially the two out in front showing their class quite far ahead of everyone else. Let's see how they do on the race start. We are back to the T-post pit mechanics, so they really shouldn't show you the pit lane if they haven't got it properly rendered and loaded up before the race. It's just stupid, like, honestly. Also, everyone in that first pit box really does have it bad. You'd think, but like, how often do you spectate and host and so on and so forth? Because remember, mine loads in first, and then everyone else loads in. So I think it loads a pit lane scene, and that scene is not working properly at the moment. Also, as I said, that person in the first pit box, they have no strategy secrets. It looks like Vaynard is on the hard tires. How's it, Deadpool? How you doing? It's been a while. But yeah, those hard tires sitting there, we'll see if Vaynard is actually on the hard tires at the start. And the start is getting underway right now. 5 red lights, and away they go. Eventually, the EA servers are a little bit weird at the moment. Deadpool, it has been a while. The EA servers are a little bit weird at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a whole bunch of lag as we go through this race. But at the moment, Admire out in front. SF1 Phantom dropping down to third. Italian Legend taking advantage of the slightly poorer start by SF1 Phantom and then dropping back into third once again. So Phantom through into second, Italian Legend in third. That looks like Chicken Wing has... Chicken Wing is beating people up at the moment. That looked odd. So yeah, Farah having to back out after taking contact by Chicken Wing. Ben Crozet spinning through the fast left-hander. I'm sure I'm going to get all sorts of reports from that 10 Legend on softs, really. I'm sure I'm going to get all sorts of reports from that start, but I won't judge them just yet. Admire out in front, Phantom in second, Italian Legend third. On the soft tires, Venom also on softs, and Kaifu as well. That's our top 5. Nico B, Gokes, No Reason, Vaynant, and Chicken Wing, top 10. Silence, Amir, Farah, and Ben Crow at the back of the grid at the moment, but I'm sure we'll see some pace from a couple of them. I know a couple of them are definitely out of order at the moment, and SF1 Phantom really struggling with the soft shod Ferrari behind him. I don't think this is a bad idea, especially if there is going to be a safety car at any point, although you reckon. It doesn't look like the softs are wearing down that quickly. I'm just looking at their tire wear at the moment. The softs are not wearing down that quickly. Hubert, your tires, they're just never happy. So yeah. Italian Legend, Venom, and Kaifu, all 3 on soft tires. They are going to be trying to make as much time up as possible, as quickly as possible. And just before I forget, I just need to go switch across to the inverter. Almost forgot. So I will have to minimize the race probably on about lap 4. I'm keeping an eye on the time. So there will be a moment where I don't actually know what will be on the screen. It will probably be the menu, but in a couple of minutes I will go and switch over to the inverter. Scars... Oh, right. Yes, you can still sign up, but you need to... I don't know if you have any of us on WhatsApp. If not, just send me a whisper. I will help you out. and then we can get you into the relevant groups and so on and so forth. I think you could exclamation mark Discord, Humid. I think you can do that as well. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. So I am going to... No, I'm still going to wait. It's still only 56 minutes past. Yeah, Scars, just message me on the Discord. Just DM me, and then I will handle your application and so on. So far, the race has evened out a little bit. The three on soft tires are starting to show that they're pushing a little bit harder. Italian Legend has dropped back from SF on Phantom. I do believe Phantom has managed to get his tires into the window nice and quickly now, and Venom now alongside Italian Legend for a moment. So let me just quickly minimize, go do the inverter thing, and then I'll be right back. And back I am as they come down the pit straight, and it looks like Venom has gotten a good exit out of their Italian Legend, dropping back before the braking zone even, and tucking in behind, and Venom will get another burst of DRS, and this brings Kaifu into the play as well, but I don't think Kaifu is quite close enough, and no, definitely not close enough to be able to get there. So one change of position there, Venom going up into third position, Italian Legend in fourth, and Venom in third, now into the podium positions. And tires not looking too bad. They've still probably got a lap or two before the first step. So yeah, Humid, it's definitely not. Sorry, I'm just trying to see exactly what. Yeah, it's definitely not the track, it's definitely not the tires, it's just you. A couple of people dropping from the session, so that's a little odd. We did expect a couple of issues with the lobby, just as we were sitting in the lobby waiting for the game to start. We did see a lot of fluctuation in the signal health, the pings and so on and so forth. Oh, that is who is that? Is that Gokes? No, it's not Gokes. It is Silence. Silence having a little bit of spin and has lost his front wing, and his tires definitely are shot 112 degrees on the rears at the moment, so he's not likely to get through many turns at any sort of pace, and he's probably going to have to pit quite soon. But Admire out in front, SF on Phantom in second, Venom in third, Italian Legend in fourth, Nico B in fifth, Kaifu in sixth. So I think Kaifu had some sort of incident at turn one there. Bernard Burtis and No Reason fighting each other as they go through turn two, and side by side, a little bit of contact there. You could hear it, but even if you couldn't really see it, the two of them still side by side as they head up towards turn number three. I can never remember the numbers here, and the contact there as well on the exit there, and oh no, why do they keep bumping each other? So No Reason has, it looks like he did back out of that, possibly got an illegal pass. It did look like he may have been off the track when he did that pass. Kaifu getting passed on Nico B as well, so a couple of things happening there. Venant B back into 8th position, No Reason in 9th, Chicken Wing the AI is behind. Venom has now left the session, so there is definitely some sort of issue with the lobby. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do, so let's just re-invite and hope. Okay, Amir, let's just re-invite him. I didn't see him rejoin, and then Venom was the other person that dropped out. Venom, there we go. And no one looks like they passed in the interim. Farah is now right on the back of No Reason. He wants to get past that. Aston Martin pulls to the inside, brakes a little bit later. No Reason is on hard tires, and doesn't look like he's entirely comfortable on them either. So Farah and No Reason currently still fighting. Farah with the DRS, which will help a lot. No Reason on the inside of this long left-hander, and let's see if he can get a good run up to the next corner. He does indeed, but doesn't look like he's pulled alongside just yet. Hasn't pulled the Fernando Alonso there, and yeah, No Reason has accepted that loss of position for now. So Farah through into 9th position. Let's actually go check the position changes. Nothing too interesting there other than Silence dropping 8 positions, which is unfortunate for him. He has had to pit though because of his his dead wings. Yes, late sign up form, but he also needs to DM me as well as get onto the WhatsApp groups. Yeah, he needs to get onto the WhatsApp groups. He needs to message myself as well, just to make sure that I can actually add him to the league, and so that he can see the announcements and so on the next time we are racing. So yeah, he'll probably look at racing on Tuesday. So yeah, we'll see him on Tuesday. Farah, no reason, still fighting, no reason coming alongside. Now, on those hard tires, he did have DRS there, will have DRS once again, and leaves a lot of space on the outside there for Farah. Great racing there, and now Farah needs to try and catch up again and get past no reason and see whether he can do it on the next lap. Meanwhile, out in front, SF1 Phantom and Bayer are getting closer again. SF1 Phantom is now within a second, so if he can keep that gap down to below a second, he will of course get DRS down the pit straight and down the straight to turn number 2. So this is quite important for him to stay as close as possible. I'm just going to go and check before the next sort of passing zone. No chicken wing still, so not sure what's happening there. Venom is there as well though, so I've resent the Venom invite. So yeah, SF1 Phantom right on the back of Admire now. Venom actually in third, so really hope he can get in as quickly as possible. There is Venom getting in, so he will hopefully keep his third. SF1 Phantom turning in quite sharply there, and Admire did well to avoid him, but then overcooked it on the exit. He has now spun around, and that is going to let Italian Legend through as well as Venom. So lost 2 places after that slight spin. Really unfortunate for him, but let's see what he can do. So SF1 Phantom taking the lead of the race, 6.7 seconds ahead of Venom. Italian Legend 1.5 seconds back from him. Admire with a lot to do now. Oh, and that was a massive snap. That was quite unusual. Very lucky to have no damage to that rear tire. Glad to see him still moving, but that was a massive crash into the barriers, and Admire definitely looking at overheated tires all round, and that is really unfortunate for him. Just checking in on the soft tire runners, they are probably going to start struggling quite soon, so we're probably looking at about another 2 laps before they absolutely have to come in. So again, just you, humid. Yeah, that twitchy setup of yours, I think, is actually really the problem, because you do tend to use a lot of tire scrubbing to extract your pace. Italian Legend coming into the pits, so deciding to pit a little bit early. He probably had another lap or 2 on those tires in the bank, but deciding to try and go for the undercut, and we did see the undercut work pretty well last night. Obviously, with this track being so twisty and technical, it means that your traction is incredibly important. And yeah, so getting onto the yeah, getting onto tires a little bit earlier, getting onto new tires, and being able to put in those laps and get the traction out of the corners and through all these corners, carrying that extra minimum speed, it really can work out for you. So the undercut very strong at this track in general. Farah and No Reason fighting once again. They were side by side there. Ooh, Farah not going well through that corner. Does Farah maybe have some sort of tire issue? When my telemetry eventually updates, not sure. It's just not updating on. It's not updating on anyone. Okay, that's fun. So I can't see Farah's tires for some reason. Not sure what's happening there. No Reason though is looking quite steady on those hard tires. He still has a long way to go before he absolutely has to get off them. Chicken Wings AI still keeping up with the rest of the pack, which is quite unusual. But oh, Chicken Wing has rejoined the game, so hopefully he manages to get back into the lobby. Because he did fairly well in... Oh, okay, pit stop. He did fairly well in quali, so let's see what he can actually do if he does manage to get back in. So currently we've got Italian Legend, who was running up front, currently in 8th position in the Ferrari on the medium tires, trying to chase down No Reason and Ferrer after his pit stop. He needs to push as hard as possible, and needs to push a little bit harder than that. Admire going for a one stop on the hard tires now, so he's looking to maybe just run all the way to the end of the race. Italian Legend will probably have to pit one more time. Let's see, anyone else on an interesting tire strategy? Venom, obviously, still on those soft tires. He hasn't used much of his tires, to be honest. Coming into the pits now, but he could probably go another lap quite easily before he gets any massive snaps or any massive loss in performance. Amir, I have sent you another invite. I did send another one earlier, but I think you may still have been restarting. Yeah, KQ is there. I don't. Yeah, I think KQ would go into pro. Yeah, definitely. If he still has the pace that that I know he's got, I'd definitely throw him in pro. So at the moment, SAF1 Phantom running out in front. Who's that who's spun? That is a Williams, maybe? Yes, it is. It's Silence again. Unfortunately, he is not having a good race. But yeah, SF1 Phantom out in front. Nico B in the second place, 19 seconds back. Ooh, and that is Silence once again spinning there. So Silence not having a good time. Venant is 4.3 seconds back from Nico. Venom in 4th place. Venom has pit recently. He was running a second on those soft tires and has pit now. Gokes in 5th, right on the back of his Alpine teammate. Ferrer in 6th in that Alpha Tauri. And after that fight with No Reason earlier, and that is Silence once again. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's damage is on. We have seen damage happen. Yeah, so damage is on. Not sure what's happening with Silence. He really has a good front wing on that car. Ferrer and Italian Legend quite nice and close together. I'm sure we'll see a move on the start-finish straight. Let's see how he goes. KQ, not OP, but he definitely is a solid. As Human said, he's very much solid. Yeah, the soft runner is going on to mediums. I don't understand. The only thing I can think of is maybe they expect a late safety car. Maybe they've got, maybe they've employed Silence and he's busy trying to kill his car or something. But no, I'm kidding. Yeah, a 2-stop is definitely not the play. No rain forecast on the telemetry. 2-stop does work on a couple of tracks. I think this is one that could theoretically work because of how many corners there are, but yeah, it's also a track where it's quite difficult to pass unless you're really confident on the brakes and have a good high downforce setup. So yeah, there are ways to do it, but I don't think it is being done properly at the moment. Although we've seen Venom pull things like this before, so let's not count him out. Yeah, but Kota has that ridiculously long straight. Somewhere like Silverstone might work a little bit better. Venom getting past Venom Burgess, but I think that may have been before the DRS line. So I wonder if Venom actually dropped back there just to let Venom through so he wouldn't get DRS, and is now going to try and take advantage of that DRS. Let's see what they do as they come. Admire, no. Oh, no, you're kidding. Wait, what? No, don't tell me what just... I'm sure Admire will come and tell us what happened there, but I just, with how things were there, I would not be surprised if I get a report about whatever happened there. Yeah, I thought so. As I said, I would not be surprised if I get a report from that one. Admire, thanks for the confirmation on that. Please report it as soon as possible, get the clip, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. When I saw Chicken Wing pulling away from the site of your corpse, I figured it was something like that. So yeah, just throw in the report. We'll see what that. We'll obviously evaluate it, and yeah, we'll go from there. SF1 Phantom out in front had pretty much a free pit stop even without the safety car, so no surprise. I don't know if like. Yeah, this is the problem. This is why I say you have to record your entire race because of this sort of thing. Race replays are only a thing. They're not really a thing in that way. I don't think. You can't drive through penalty for Chicken Wing, and Venom has left the session. So we'll re-invite Venom just now. Let's actually try and do it immediately. But yeah, admire. Look for Venom here quickly. Yeah. But yeah, admire. That's why we're supposed to be recording as much of the race as possible, just in case something like this happens, and in the heat of the moment you forget to clip it or anything like that. But yeah. And Chicken Wing gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. So really racking up the penalties. Drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, or basically ignoring the delta, I think. Yeah, unfortunately, you are going to need to try and figure out how to get that clip to us. So either who was anyone close by behind you? Yeah, photo mode sucks. But yeah, admire. Just check if anyone was nearby you, if you can. Because then we can try and get their replay, or try and get them to. Well, we'll have to contact them and try and get them to actually save their replay as well. Yeah, so hopefully Bencro gets through to the end of the race. Farah is in the same sort of area, but obviously that's difficult to tell. Oh, it's really frustrating that I can't actually just rewind that little bit of this off the stream. That's one thing that I miss from streaming to YouTube, is that it actually buffered the video onto YouTube servers as you went along, so you could just sort of drag back. But yeah, Twitch, I don't know if you can do that, so that's a little frustrating, but yeah, one of those things. But yeah, admire, try and figure out who was close by, maybe drop them a WhatsApp before the end of the race, and hopefully they do save their replay. Yes, Hubert, I'm aware of how it works. That's why I know that it's frustrating as anything. Almost swore at you, but it's fine. Fine. I'm breathing deeply. Not really. It's too hot to breathe deeply at the moment. Okay, so SF1 Phantom out in front. Yes, you needed to do it though. It was your incident to report. So, SF1 Phantom out in front, Venom in second, Italian Legend in third, Kaifu in fourth, Nico B in fifth, Venom, Burtis, Gokes, Bencro, Say, No Reason, and Farah our top 10, Chicken Wing, Amir, and Silence top 13. Amir, wait, what? Why have those? Oh, because Chicken Wing has spun. That's why those two switched positions there. Silence really not having a good race at the back of the pack, and I do believe he's a couple of laps down at this point. So yeah, that's really unfortunate for Kaifu is losing positions as well. I think that may have been a spin there, and that was Kaifu needing to make up a bunch of positions there that people got illegal overtakes for. So yeah, that's a little odd. What? Why? What is he doing? And this is like, is he trying to serve his drive-through? Oh no, he's serving the previous 5-second penalty he got for speeding in the pit lane. And he got another 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, I will re-invite Venom once again. There we go. So yeah, chicken. Yeah, I don't need to say more, and I'm not going to say more. Um, Obviously, I am privy to information that I can't share right now, so I'm not going to say more, just in case I do make a mistake and share something. But yeah, SAF1 Phantom out in front, Venom in second, Talon Legend in third, Nico in fourth, and Vaynant in fifth. Gox, Bankro SA, No Reason, Kaifu, and Farah are top 10, and then Amir, Scrappy, and Chicken Wing are the last guys on the lead lap, and Silence is a lap down. Admire has left the session. That was because he had crashed out. One more invite for Venom. Please get in as quickly as possible because the safety car is now coming in, and so we're going to see a safety car restart, and SF1 Phantom practically stopping on the track to try and bunch up the pack and just generally getting his tires ready. He is obviously on those hard tires. Tires are going to make a big difference to this restart. So SAF1 Phantom on hard tires, Venom on medium tires, Italian Legend and Nico, Italian Legend as well on the medium tires, but his tires are a little bit more worn. And Nico in fourth place is on the hards as well. So a couple of the guys needing to do a lot of work to warm up their tires. SF1 Phantom goes early. He did that as well last race, if I remember correctly, as well. So Venom, obviously, as an AI, managed to keep up with him, but will start falling back. Italian Legend has kept up as well. Nico caught napping, but is also on those hard tires, so he would have had a struggle through that last one. Yeah, can't even check because Twitch. But yeah, so that is really unfortunate. But as long as we get at least one replay, we should be fine. I'm pretty sure if we can get Bankro's replay, we will be fine. Humid has a pretty good memory for who was where, so yeah, I trust him when he says that Bankro was close by. So hopefully that is actually the case. Venom is no longer showing online, so if he's restarting his game, just let me know as soon as he has, and I'll send him another invite. Italian Legend is now trying to go through him. 3/10 down on Venom. Kaifu and Bankro switching positions. Bankro is and switching back, so Bankro is in 6th place, Kaifu in 7th. Oh, massive snap there by Bankro. Manages to get onto the track. Wouldn't be an unsafe restarting there. Good amount of space there left by Bankro. Venom's AI backing out of that. Legend getting through and now can try and chase after SF1 Phantom. Those medium tires are pretty much already up to temperature. SF1 Phantom will probably need to run another lap before you can get them fully up to temperature. Let's re-invite Venom quickly. There we go. Hopefully you can get in. SF1 Phantom out in front, 1.5 seconds. Italian Legend 1.2 seconds ahead of Venom, 1.8 seconds ahead of Nico, and 7/10 to Vaynant. So Vaynant is looking at the back of that Williams and wanting to get past it. Bankro SA then 2.3 seconds back, and No Reason and Kaifu fighting at the moment. I do believe Kaifu is actually letting people through. Oh, No Reason has a moment. I don't know if there was contact there between himself and Kaifu, but No Reason having a moment and going into the wall. No Reason has no damage from what I can tell, so yeah, lucky for him there, no damage around that corner. It did look like Kaifu did leave space there, so I think No Reason may have just hit the throttle a little too hard and paid the price and gone to the inside wall. Venom still does not look like he is in the game. Please let me know if he needs another invite. Yeah, so he does seem to be struggling to get back into the game. I don't know if that's his internet. Well, it would be his internet because everyone else does seem to be in the game. Nico in the Williams is currently coming up to the back of him, so he's lost one place already on the restart, or after the restart. Oh, and that was a terrible line through there by Nico, and so Vaynant is coming through and into 4th position. I can never remember who is a a reserve and who isn't, so the reserves have been asked not to get in the way of the actual drivers. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Good racing in general that we have seen from the couple of guys that we have been on board with. Nico coming up to the back of Venant at the moment as well. So let's see if he can get in there. If he is a reserve, he won't try and pass too hard. But if he isn't, then I'm sure he'll be gunning for it. I'm going to send another quick invite to Venom. There's nothing really happening on track at the moment. Venom is offline once again. So I don't know if he has maybe let go, given up. So Kaifu currently side by side with Bankro through the chicane, and that was actually really good to see. I'm glad I got on board, or not on board, but glad we did see that. That's fine that he doesn't join a general. Venant has spun, and I'm not sure if that was a reset to track. He doesn't have wing damage, so that's good to see. Benkro in 6th at the moment. Kaifu getting through the chicane. That was a good move to watch. And he now has to try and catch up to Nico B and the guys out ahead. As long as he joins the announcement group, and if you can please get him to join the pro announcement group as well, just in case there's anything in there. And if we do say anything in the general group, then we'll just need someone to relay the message to him. So Ven is currently dropping positions even further. Farah getting through and is now up into 7th position in the Alpha Tauri. So Farah making it through, and Venant's race is not going great right now. He is struggling in that Mercedes, and Gokes is now right on the back of him as well. Gokes is one of our reserves, and a massive smack against the wall there. 8% damage on that wing, so not too bad, but he will feel a little bit. It is a front left wing damage, he will feel a little bit with this being a clockwise track. Cool. Admire. Hopefully someone will be able to provide proof. As I said, if necessary, as long as someone can provide a full race replay, we should be able to find something. So we'll see what happens. So SF1 Phantom out in front. Farah and Venant changing positions. So Venant getting through on Farah, coming through in the towards the end of the 2nd sector. But that means Farah will get DRS down the straight, and No Reason is right behind him once again. And with DRS as well, and the tire advantage in theory, but 16% on those tires, so he should have the tire advantage still. And so let's see what they can do as they come into the 2nd DRS zone. Not close enough, so they're falling back even further through that until that 2nd DRS zone. Unfortunately, one of those things. Let's try another invite for Venom. Invite sent. Interesting racing so far. Farah and No Reason once again back on top of each other. Venom's car has dropped down to 5th, so he's lost 2 positions, and Ben Crozet is now catching up to him. Venom has joined. Yes. Finally success. And Silence, I do believe, is... Oh, that was very, very, very strange. Something there made it look like it was letterboxing. How's that?
Unbelievable, mate. I don't get it. What the f is this about? And box now, box now, box forward. Stay out, stay out, stay out. No, Kimi, no. You will not have the drink.
You're having fun there, Admire. I was just complaining about seeing things and closed my eyes and was talking about it, and then suddenly I hear Charles scream of agony in my ears. I was like, what's going on? So that caught me a little by surprise. Well done. Italian Legend coming in for his 2nd pit stop, down all the way down in 11th, and is going to have to push really hard to get those tires working, to get that strategy working. We have No Reason having spun there. Ben Croce, multiple warnings for track limits. So a couple of people having a couple of issues just in general now. Italian Legend getting past No Reason without a wing, so No Reason not having a great time there, and the Aston Martin clearly stricken, and Italian Legend 1 position up so far. The deck doesn't seem too bad. Let's just go have a look at what people are running. Yeah, no, Kaifu's on 12 laps and he's only just gone through the first step. So Deg's not too bad, I would say. 12 laps first step, that's pretty good. Obviously, there were a couple of laps under the safety car, so that may be affecting the stat a little bit, but I'm sure he can go quite a few laps still. If it's 12 laps into the first step, that's to the end of the race. So yeah, if Italian can push, he should be able to push probably quite far before he starts actually feeling any sort of degradation related performance issues. Venom actually up into third position again, so managed to get past Nico B as I was talking about tires. So good to see that he has managed to do that. Venom Burtis is on the back of. Oh, and that was a reset to track by Kaifu. So Kaifu is definitely going to need a chat about reset to track. That is an instant 30-second penalty. So hopefully someone does report that. Humid, if you are still listening, if you wouldn't mind going and reporting that quickly, just so I've got the report there. And yeah, like that is something I do encourage. If you guys do see an incident in one of the races that are being streamed, do not be afraid of reporting it. It doesn't need to be the driver affected that reports the incident. It can be anyone who saw the incident as well. You know Kaifu. But yeah, Kaifu is going to get a 30-second penalty for the reset to track. Obviously, we did see him do it in quali as well. He is new to the league, so ooh, speeding in the pit lane. That looked like it was marginal. That is going to be really painful. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, he's not supposed to reset to track. That will be a 30-second penalty, unfortunately, but yeah, one of those things. SF1 Phantom currently out in front, 12.9 seconds ahead of Venom. Second Wing has left the session. I'll try and re-invite him in a couple of laps' time. So Venom in second place after managing to get back in. Who was ahead of him? I can't remember who was ahead of him. I know Nico was ahead of him, and Nico then pitted. Was it Italian Legend who then dropped down after the pits? That was really unfortunate timing on that pit stop, actually. Being so close to the safety car, it meant that he did have quite a big delta in the pit lane. So, unfortunately for there for Italian Legend, but I'm sure we'll see him push those medium tires nice and hard. His deg doesn't look too bad. It does look higher than most other tracks, but obviously with this track being as windy as it is, that's not really surprising. To be honest, the deck doesn't look too bad in general. So Vanderbilt is currently fighting with Bancro SA. This is for position, I do believe, and both of them dodging and weaving around each other to try and find a spot to pass. And we have Gokes spinning there. He did have that wing damage from earlier. Looks like his wing damage is still fine. His tires don't look too overheated, so he'll probably be fine going forward. Venant is in 5th place. He is gunning for Ben, and I'm sure he's going to push as hard as he can to try and get past that Red Bull. It's funny how we have this battle happening over and over and over again. This Mercedes Red Bull battle really does come up so often. And yeah, it's great to see guys are really pushing as hard as they can. Venant going right up to the edge of track limits there. And yeah, that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see hard, fair racing. So let's see how these two do. Venant taking a wider entry, so he'll get a slightly better exit out of there. But you do have to try and set up for this last corner more than anything else, and it doesn't look like he's taking as much of the track as Bancro ahead. Ooh, that was unusual. So I'm sure that'll be reported. It looked like quite a lot of weaving down that straight. I don't know if maybe that was a snap of oversteer that was then overcorrected. But yeah, that looked quite interesting. If it was suspected of being an illegal defense, I'm sure I'll see a report. But Vaynant still behind Benkro at this point, and but still right on top of him. Although this will be hurting his tires. So just looking at the relative tire wear, waiting for the second one to load, not really too much of a problem. Vaynant does have a problem on his front left tire. Which he seems to be driving a little bit harder than any of the others. He might be running flat tire pressures across the board, whereas I think on this track you do try and lower the tire pressure of the left tires a little bit further than your right tires. So yeah, it just looks like he's struggling a little bit with that, but not really anything else. Benkro is pushing as hard as he can as well, and I can see it in the tire temperatures. And yeah, there you can see it. That little snap of oversteer as he went through the second to last corner. Benkro is pushing that Red Bull as hard as he possibly can, goes wide on the final corner. Vaynant is now alongside him down the pit straight, and it looks like they're going into the braking zone. They are still going to be side by side and through the corner at the apex and on the exit, still side by side all the way through there. Benkro, I say, gets a slightly better exit for a moment, but I think Vaynant is burning a lot more ERS. Benkro takes an interesting line through there, and Vaynant going for the cutback, but not quite enough pace in that Mercedes to do the cutback properly. But they are still side by side going up the hill, and there it is. Vaynant decides to pull out of it. Benkro going way too wide on the exit. He does have that 3-second penalty. Vaynant doesn't have to get past him, but I'm sure he wants to try and get up the road after Nico. So that was a yeah, that T2 looked very, very, very strange. I don't know if that was actually hitting the corner or just cutting it in half, but I'm sure the game will have caught him if it was cutting it in half. But yeah, these two still somehow in the same positions. Yeah, I think what happened is I think he may have turned in a little bit too early, and then went very deep. So yeah, I think he may have been. Remember, ABS is the thing. So he may have started his braking a little bit late, managed to turn in with the ABS and didn't lock up because of that, but still went deep, and that may have been what helped him get around the corner. So Vaynant going wide on the exit there of turn 1 and losing some time there, so it won't be this lap. Once again, Vaynant being held back by Benkro. Benkro currently in 4th place, and this fight is still the closest on the field, and it's a great fight. Once again, I must say this Hungarian Grand Prix has given us interesting things all the way through. We had the wet race last night, which was interesting all on its own, even if I was spinning everywhere I could. Yeah. Good times. So yeah, and then the pro race was actually really great as well. No safety cars or anything there. No safety cars last night either, even with the rain. And tonight, one safety car, but this battle between Vaynant and Benkro, and unfortunately Vaynant has overcooked it a little bit, and he is now struggling to get around the corners. He is going to have to charge up a little bit and try and catch up to Benkro once again. Italian Legend has gotten past Amir Scrappy. Didn't even see that coming, so I don't know if Amir maybe had some sort of issue, but Italian Legend now through into 7th place. He still has a couple of places to make up before he can really call his strategy a success. I'd say probably at least 5 places, to be honest. So yeah, Italian Legend currently in 7th position, and does need to make up a couple more places. 4.9 seconds back from Farah, but it does look like he's got quite a bit of pace. Looking at the timing, Italian Legend's last lap was a 121.258, whereas Farah's was a 122.384. So Farah definitely does not have the pace to keep Italian Legend behind, but Italian Legend does need to keep pushing. 6 laps left of this race at about, what was that, 2 seconds a lap? a second a lap. So he should get past Farah before the end of the race, and he might actually even be able to catch up to Vaynant before the end of the race. So Italian Legend, not the best strategy. Could possibly have made it work if there was another safety car towards the end of the race, but at the moment it doesn't look like he's going to have the best strategy out there. 7-lap-old medium tires, and he has to make up about a second a lap, which he did last lap. Let's see how he does across the line this lap. Farah gets a 121.747, Italian Legend at 120.837, so about 9 tenths between the two of them. So Italian Legend definitely doing his absolute best to try and catch up to the AlphaTauri ahead. 3.8 seconds at the moment. Let's see what he can do in the final 5 laps. Alrighty, so coming towards the end of this lap, it looks like Italian Legend is still running fairly well. Just checking his sector times, he is running a little bit slower than his best sector times, but that's not entirely surprising as his tires start dropping off. But once again, Farah will come across the line at 121.745, whereas Italian Legend gets Venom. Venom is going into the pits. Oh, getting off those soft tires, and we have a yellow flag. What was the yellow flag for? Wait, what is Venom doing? Why is he on 10-lap-old soft tires? Has Venom disconnected again? Okay, so that was just ridiculously surprising. Okay, 122.134 was Farah, 121.147 was Italian Legend. So Italian Legend still looks like he is trying to catch up to Farah. It does look like he still has the pace. He now has Venom to try and get past as well. Venom on those very old soft tires, those soft tires that are not looking happy at all. He is basically on the limit of a blowout risk on the rear left, and there it is. Blowout risk has now begun. So yeah, it's a very strange decision by Venom. I can only think that Mark messed him up. Yeah, and I did figure it was something like that, but that is going to drop him so far down, because there he is. He's having to pit again because it's just too far to push those softs. So Farah currently crosses the line and is 122.071. Italian Legend is a 120.964. So a massive gain there for Italian Legend, and I think this is going to happen. I think Italian Legend is going to catch up to the back of Farah. Farah does look like he has fallen back from Vaynant a little bit, so Vaynant is pushing as well. So let's actually have a look and see whether Vaynant manages to get past Ben Croisset this time. He is going onto the back of him. He is within a second now, and let's see what he can do as Venom comes out of the pits with brand new soft tires this time. Mark and his pit crew not screwing him over with the Ferrari strats. Speaking of Ferrari strats and the fact that we have a race this weekend, did anyone else see that Ferrari have managed to give Charles Leclerc a penalty already? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're welcome to ask. But if you do know what I'm talking about, I'm sure you would have had a chuckle as you remembered what absolute skullduggery they've managed to pull before race 2. I'd like to remind everyone it is race 2, and he's got a penalty. Anyway, so Amir Scrappy getting past someone there. I think that may have been a back marker. So yeah, 30. Like, honestly, how do you screw up your control electronics that badly? That doesn't make sense. It's a board. It's a motherboard. It's basically a motherboard. What are they doing? That's the other thing. Why is Science's car fine? Anyway, Venant not managing to get past Bencro this time. Italian Legend is on the back of Farah as well, so we have two battles to keep an eye on as we see. I'm pretty sure that's Silence struggling to get around the track, and once again looking like he might have burnt tires. Let's see, yes, 112 degrees on the back tire. Yeah, unfortunate for him. Don't worry, I'm sure Charles will be fine. Uh, yeah, so Science did need a head start after last season, but like honestly, what are they doing to that car? They've seemed to have fixed, that okay, we have no reason spinning now. That's unfortunate for him, but I don't think it's going to affect too much. I think SF1 Phantom might be on the penultimate lap. We've got someone here. I think that is Silence. Yeah, with his crispy tires. So let's see what Vanant can do to Bancro SA this time. Ooh, takes a very tight line through there, gets on the power a little bit too early. He will have dropped back a little bit there. Italian Legend, no such issues, and is right on the back of Farah, slipstreaming all the way down towards turn 1's braking zone. And now let's see how they break. Farah braking. Oh, that was just enough space left there. Farah does look like he did back out of that after a little bit of contact there. And Stefan in WhatsApp is checking wing. So yeah, just don't fight, please. Don't respond. Just report the incident. Leave it at that. Okay, so Italian Legend getting past Farah now has 4 seconds to go to get back to the back of Venant Burtis, and I don't think that's happening. Venant is racing fairly well. He is on the back of Bancro SA. He has dropped out of the 1 second for a moment there. This car does not sound healthy. It doesn't sound like that Mercedes is liking those hard tires. The hard tires actually do look like they've worn quite a bit. 47% for Bancro SA. Oh wait, I lie. Bancro has a highest wear of 46% on the rear left. Venant has 47% or 47.5% on the front left. So different strats, quite interesting. Yeah, that's quite interesting from the different strats, different setups. The final lap of the race for these two, obviously SF1 Phantom is on the final lap, already out in front, already halfway through the lap, so we'll pop across to him when we get there. Goat's getting a 3-second penalty for track limits. So that's really unfortunate. This is one of those races that the track limits, you really don't hit them as much as normal. So yeah, great to see so few track limits penalties after the last few rounds that we've had. Venant now pushing as hard as he can, but SF1 Phantom, we haven't seen much of him because he's been so far out front. 30 seconds ahead at the moment, comes across the line. A commanding win for the Mercedes driver. Nico in second, just running his own race, just doing his own thing. Had a little bit of a moment earlier where he was racing someone, but then managed to pull away from them. Bancro in third place has Venant Burtis still hounding him, and I wouldn't call this over until they actually cross the line. I have gone through this final corner, touched the curb, smacked into the wall on the inside and lost it. Bancro, Venant gets the podium position due to Bancro's penalty there. Talon Legend in 5th place with that alternate strategy, with the 2-stop strategy. I don't know if I'd call it a successful strategy. If there was another safety car, it definitely would have been. But yeah, one of those situations. Farah in 6th, Venom in 7th after multiple drops, and the game deciding to completely mess him up. Ben, why are you shaking? Also, please save your full race replay. Yeah, just save your full race replay in any way, just so that we can get it, just so I can have at least one to be able to do my photos with. Ben, you can save your replay when we go to the leaderboard afterwards. On the left hand side you can see save full race replay. Also, can you hear me? Please save it regardless, just so that we can do the photo mode thing. Alrighty, so there we have it. SF1 Phantom, a commanding win out in front. Almost a very satisfying total race time. Nico B in second after a good race. Sorry about that. Vaynant in third, Benkro in fourth, having held out so well there, and then just that penalty dropping him down. Italian Legend in fifth with the slightly dodgy to stop session. Kaifu, if you can save your replay, then that would be absolutely incredible. Farah in seventh, Farah in sixth, Venom in seventh, Amir in eighth, Gokes ninth, No Reason 10th, and then Chickenwing, Kaifu, Silence, and Admire. Admire getting taken out, or doing the taking out apparently. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah, I did see Kaifu's reset to track, one in quali and one in the race. There will be a 30-second penalty, unfortunately, for that. That is one of those hard and fast rules. Like intentional taking someone out is also another one that has a very hefty penalty, and you have to really. I'll give you one 30-second penalty. Honestly, like it's such a massive penalty that it won't really make too much of a difference to get two of them. But yeah, I would recommend getting rid of those habits. And yeah, the other habit I've seen people have that I'm sure people want to really get rid of is smashing into the pit lane at 120 k's an hour, or however many k's an hour you can get up to. But yeah, if everyone can please save their replays as much as possible, as many replays as I can get, that would be great. And thank you so much to everyone in the chat. It was quite a nice time with so many of you in the chat. It was great to have you all humid spamming us with everything. But no, absolutely enjoy having you in the chat. And thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, if you do have anything else, please just let me know. Admire... No, we don't. We don't have poll points. Ben, you might not be able to send me the replays in Discord. But if you can't, if it doesn't allow you to, just let me know, and I've got a form that I can send through to you that you can upload with. Yeah, I think Kaifu, your second one, I think you did get a speeding in the pit lane penalty. So yeah, I did figure. That's why I mentioned the pit lane thing. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone for joining us. If you've saved your replays, let me know via WhatsApp DM, and I will send you the form that you need to upload it through. You will probably need a Google account to be able to do it, and just double check your Google Drive afterwards. Oh. I've been saying Google so many times, my phone's like, yes, what do you want? So yeah, just let me know. And yeah, absolute pleasure to host you guys as always. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat. I'm going to stop waffling now. Have a good evening. We'll check you next time.